Hey everybody, Kevin Purcell with Gotta Be Mobile, and I've got in front of me, of course, my iPad Pro, and I have a couple of keyboards. These are the two main keyboards that most people are using with the iPad Pro. Over here on the left, you see the Apple type cover keyboard for the iPad Pro, and then over here on the right, we have the Logitech Create keyboard cover. Now, I want to talk about these two keyboards. First of all, let's talk about the Logitech Create. As far as keys go, it has a slightly better quality keyboard itself. At least it looks that way and feels that way. Although my experience has been that it's a little bit less responsive. I have to bang on the keys a lot harder with this keyboard than I do with the Apple keyboard. Also, you notice that it sits in here. The Apple Pro, iPad Pro sits in here, connected, and it kind of clamps in, and that makes it a little bit difficult to quickly remove the keyboard. The Apple keyboard, I'll show you in just a second how easily it removes. And so that kind of gives sort of a plus in favor of the Apple type cover. Now, as you know, this keyboard connects with these little pins here, and you can see the connector at the bottom. It snaps into place real quickly and easily, and immediately you can begin typing. It has a nice row of, up here it has a nice row of iOS shortcut keys, and the rest of the keyboard is a pretty decent keyboard. It feels pretty good. It has a key here to bring up the on-screen keyboard when you're in an app that supports it. Of course, has all the iOS keys that you would expect on it, like Command and Option and Control, in the places you'd expect. Generally, it's a pretty nice keyboard. It is cheaper than the Apple type cover, but I think it's still overpriced at $150. In fact, I'm not pleased with it, and in my case, I'm taking it back. Now, I wanted to show you the Logitech Create closed. You see how thick that is. In my case, it's actually as thick as my MacBook Pro, and it's pretty heavy. And then I've got one other issue. These power, or the volume buttons popped off. I don't know how this happened or where they are. They just came off, and so that's another reason why I'm taking this one back. So now I've put my iPad Pro in the Apple's keyboard. Notice how much thinner it is. Of course, it doesn't cover the back or the sides, so it's not nearly as protective. However, it's also a little bit easier to open the other one, because this one, it's kind of got a weird thing going on where you open the keyboard, and it's very difficult to do one-handed like this. But it's doable. And so now I've got it open, and I'll turn on my iPad, and there you can see it sitting in the keyboard. Again, the keyboard has the keys in the right places. It doesn't have that nice row of shortcut keys across the top, and this one costs more than Logitech's keyboard. But typing on it is very comfortable. It's a nice keyboard. I enjoy typing on it. Don't have any trouble using it. And so it gives you all the controls you'd expect. One of the things you can do with it, I'll open up a few apps here and get them running. Now, just like on a Mac, if you hit Command Tab, notice it brings up a task switcher, which is nice. And Control Space brings up Spotlight Search, just like it would. That's also a quick way to go home. So what you can do is Command Space and then Command Space again. So that's a quick way to go home, even though this doesn't have a dedicated home key. By the way, this magnet, notice how incredibly strong it is. Since I'm filming this and I'm one-handed, it's very difficult for me to disconnect it, but there I finally did. And then disconnecting this one-handed is not easy, but it's still doable. I could not get the iPad Pro out of the Logitech keyboard at all. That's why I didn't even try to show it to you while I'm filming this as I try to do it with my left hand. Installing the keyboard is as easy as that. Of the two, I much prefer the actual keys on the Logitech Create keyboard, but as an overall experience, of course, Apple wins. It's more expensive, but you get a better experience. It's easier to detach the keyboard. You can buy their very expensive back cover for like $80. That's a ridiculous price, and I'll never pay it. Or you can get third-party back covers that work with this for $20 to $50, depending on how expensive and how good you want it to be. I'm going with the Apple type cover. I think it's a better option. The keyboard works just as well as the Logitech Create. The keys on the Logitech Create feel better, but they're harder to press and type on because it's not as responsive. So here's 3 more options for keyboards. These are all Bluetooth keyboards. They connect to the iPad using Bluetooth. They're not integrated, so they're a little bit harder to carry around, but they're a lot cheaper. This is the tablet keyboard from Logitech. They don't sell this one anymore, but you can still find it on Amazon. I just bought this one for about, I think it was $25 or $30. This is the Logitech K811. Again, they don't sell it anymore. They have a newer version. But just look for the one that connects to 3 different devices. The one that they have now actually has a channel. I don't think the iPad will fit into it. But again, you can find this one inexpensively on Amazon. And then here's the Apple keyboard. This is their Bluetooth keyboard. Again, this is the older version. I don't really like the newer version because I don't like the new key technology. But if you do, it's like if you've ever tested a new MacBook keyboard, that's what it feels like apparently. All of these are much cheaper options if you don't want to go with the expensive integrated options. You could just carry these in a case and just pull them out when you need it. Buy yourself an inexpensive iPad cover instead of a keyboard cover, and there you go. You still get a keyboard option. One of the values of this Logitech tablet keyboard is it has its own case that you can put together and turn into a stand. That's what I actually had the iPad in. So it becomes a nice integrated system. And again, you can find these still for around $20 to $30 online. So let's summarize. The Apple Smart Keyboard, which is a lot thinner and lighter, also costs more. But the Logitech Create keyboard is thicker, heavier, but the keys are a little bit better and they're backlit. However, it's not quite as responsive. It does have that nice row of extra keys at the top for shortcuts, but due to the fact that it's just a little bit too thick, it's not my favorite. And so I would say that the Apple Smart Cover wins in this head-to-head. It's probably the best option and the most versatile because it's easy to take off. This has been Kevin Purcell for GottaBeMobile.com. Thanks for watching.